Our energy practice dates back almost 50 years in representing companies and then also utilities and energy companies, primarily oil and gas and coal concerns. But beginning in the 21st century, a lot of that work is both for utilities being pulled in by renewable portfolio standards and for oil and gas concerns that are looking to diversify portfolios in electricity generation and in alternative fuels. We've been doing more and more work in the renewable space. It's incredibly exciting, but it can also be a challenge. Governments are mandating more and more, and the regulatory scheme for these companies is increasing. Just think of the auto industry, for example, and the CAFE standards, and then multiply that many more times to take into account things like California's very tough rules on carbon emissions and the requirements for utilities to get well beyond the 20% that was originally set as a goal for electricity generation from renewable sources. Today, the regulatory framework is part of what causes this to be a complicated area, both for energy companies and energy concerns and their consumers. But we've had the opportunity to work with companies all along the spectrum. It's interesting because, especially in the renewable energy arena, what we find is that because of the government imperative to reduce carbon emissions and a very large philanthropic push to do the same thing, we find that our corporate clients are often getting involved in public-private partnerships where really unique structures and joint ventures are emerging. For example, we represented a company called SunPower, which is one of the largest manufacturers of solar panels. They were originally embedded within a semiconductor company, spun out from the semiconductor company, pursued through acquisitions a strategy to better vertically integrate the entire practice from the production of polysilicon and making of silicon wafers, all the way through the installation to rooftops on family homes, and then were acquired 75% by Total, a large oil and gas concern out of Paris. And those are just truly unique transactions. The transaction with Total left 15 to 25% float of SunPower stock publicly traded, which had only been done about 8 times since 1970. So truly unique transactions. A part of the renewable energy practice obviously includes representing companies that are doing large wind installations, both onshore and offshore. The regulatory issues there are monumental. Wind presents a very unique issue around affecting people's view from where they live. Whether it's putting it on a hilltop where you're capturing great wind, or it's putting it slightly offshore where you're capturing great wind, the challenge is who wants to look at big wind towers. There's a similar challenge for something like solar, where we go and want to put large solar panels in the desert, and then we start worrying about, are we affecting the habitat of this lizard or that turtle? I think those are issues that every renewable electricity generator is thinking about and having to deal with one way or another.